Hi guys and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be finding out what would happen if Pennywise existed IRL. And before we go any further, I looked at my comment section and all of my subs, and to be honest with you guys, I was expecting hate because of the way I was talking back in the Backrooms videos. So yeah, that was quite unexpected. Thanks for watching the whole video, I really appreciate that. However, this video is going to be something different. We are going to find out how the globe would be affected by it, the cosmic entity, and what the public would do as well. Anyways, enough of the chat and let's go on, shall we? At first, it wouldn't look like anything supernatural. Missing persons cases would begin across small towns across the country, such as children disappearing near parks, schools, and residential streets. Nothing unusual at first. Just cases that happen every year and are explained quickly. But some witnesses would report seeing a strange figure after the disappearances. A man wearing a clown costume, just standing there, staying still. Not moving, just watching. At first, the authorities would dismiss it as an unreliable memory, stress, confusion, and false sightings. Until more reports started coming in, different cities, different states, same description, a pale face, a painted smile, red markings, and eyes that didn't even look human. But parents would begin reporting something even more disturbing. Children describing encounters that adults never confirmed, talking about someone who knew their fears, their names, their secrets. And every time investigators tried to track the sightings, the trail would end the same way. And places no one normally pays attention to. As reports increased, officials began quietly monitoring areas where the strange activity has been spotted. But what they would eventually realize was the most disturbing part. The sightings weren't just random, they were following a pattern, as if something was choosing exactly where to appear, and it was getting closer. Oh, fuck! That was my cat. As fear surrounding the sightings continued to spread, authorities began noticing unusual behaviors among affected communities. People reported increasing levels of aggression, paranoia, and emotional instability, and arguments in the public become more common, and violent incidents began rising in areas connected to the sightings. Some residents even claimed they consistently felt watched, while several others reported hearing voices coming from the drains, even the woods. As panic slowly turned into chaos, investigators could no longer determine whether the incident was causing the behavior, or if fear itself was beginning to break people mentally. As the chaos continued to spread, authorities introduced emergency curfews across several affected nations. Public transport systems were temporarily shut down. Schools closed indefinitely, and entire neighborhoods were placed under constant surveillance. Officials insisted the measures were necessary to prevent further panic, but online discussions quickly turned into conspiracy theories. Many people believed the government was hiding the true nature of the situation. Others claimed the sightings were no longer isolated, and that this unknown phenomenon already spread beyond the monitored zones. Excuse me. Then came the footage that changed everything. A security camera installed near a residential storm drain captured a figure emerging late at night. The recording showed what appeared to be a clown-like figure standing completely still, motionless in the street, sometimes even the woods. And for nearly 2 minutes, it didn't move. It simply stared directly towards the camera as if examining it, before the entire feed suddenly distorted. When the footage returned, the figure was gone. But investigations later confirmed something far more disturbing. A child living only 2 houses away had disappeared the same night. Following the release of the footage, public panic reached unprecedented levels quickly. Even thousands of people began reporting similar sightings across cities, always near drains and subways, and abandoned underground spaces. Authorities attempted to debunk the recordings, claiming digital manipulation and misinformation. But independent analysts confirmed that the footage showed no signs of editing, and no clear explanation for the anomalies that could be provided. As fear continued to spread, emergency response units were deployed to monitor high-risk areas. But several of those units later went missing during their patrols, leaving behind only static and unfinished transmission logs. Without a warning, a strange account appeared online. The account had no profile picture, no identifiable owner, and no record of when it was made. Yet, somehow, it carried an official verification badge. The account began uploading short, distorted clips at night. Videos of the unit investigating the places where the sightings were first seen. The uploads spread rapidly across social media, as millions of users questioned how the account became verified in the first place. Several viewers claimed the videos caused intense feelings of unease. The platform eventually attempted to remove the account due to repeated reports, but the account would mysteriously reappear hours later, even if it was banned. It would come back with the same name and the same verification badge. As the uploads continued, the content began changing in disturbing ways. The account started posting short clips showing entire towns in complete devastation, empty streets, and collapsed buildings. Even emergency sirens echoing in the distance. Yet the authorities confirmed no such event had actually taken place. At first, the videos were dismissed as elaborate edits or AI-generated fabrications, but investigators soon discovered something deeply disturbing. Several locations shown in the uploads were actually real places, captured from angles that should have been physically impossible to access. Attempts to permanently remove the video had repeatedly failed. Moderators reported the posts reappearing after deletion, sometimes with altered captions and increasingly distorted imagery. Even internal systems designed to block the account had reportedly stopped responding correctly while the uploads were still active. As public fear intensified, the videos themselves became more disturbing by each day. Some uploads showed power outages, evacuated streets, and even emergency broadcasts. Then, the account's behavior became even more disturbing. The uploads no longer appeared random. They began directly responding to public reactions online, mocking government statements, referencing live news broadcasts, and even mentioning specific discussions across social media. In one upload, a clown-like figure appeared standing in an empty street with collapsed buildings behind it, slowly applauding while distorted captions flash across the screen, with the caption saying, "Still trying to hide it?" Another clip appeared to mock the platform itself, showing the figure laughing silently beside the messages referring failed attempts to remove the account. Users quickly noticed something unsettling. The account seemed fully aware that companies were trying to ban it. Yet, every removal attempt only resulted in more uploads appearing, as if whoever or whatever was behind the account wanted the public to know it could not be stopped. By this point, many people no longer believed they were dealing with a normal user, but something intentionally using the internet just to spread fear. Then, the situation escalated beyond anything the authorities had prepared for. One town was suddenly placed under emergency lockdown following reports of coordinated attacks throughout the area. Witnesses described groups of armed individuals moving through the streets wearing clown masks, causing extreme widespread panic among residents. Emergency services struggled to regain control as communications across the town became increasingly unstable. But according to multiple eyewitness reports, several people claim they saw a man standing motionless during the chaos, wearing a clown costume, watching silently from a distance as the chaos erupted. Some witnesses described his eyes glowing unnaturally in the dark, while others claimed he appeared in different parts of the town within impossibly short periods of time. Authorities refused to comment on the sightings as well. But leaked emergency transmissions later revealed that officers on the scene had seen the same figure themselves, a clown, standing there, silently, always appearing briefly before disappearing without any explanation. As the lockdown continued, military units were deployed around the outskirts of the town. No civilians were permitted to enter or leave, and all media access was immediately restricted. Officials publicly described the incident was an act of organized violence, but by who? Even leaked audio from emergency responders suggested something far more disturbing. Multiple officers reported severe hallucinations while inside the affected area. Some people even claim that streets appeared to change their layout. Others reported hearing laughter echoing through the chaos. And several body camera recordings captured brief sightings of the clown, standing in locations that should have been impossible to access. Then, late into the night, power across the entire town suddenly failed. For exactly 7 minutes, when electricity was finally restored, entire sections of the town had been completely abandoned and some of it even destroyed, with vehicles left running, front doors left open, and no explanation for where the missing residents had gone. After the incident, the chaos no longer remained in an isolated town. Reports of unusual behavior and mass panic started spreading across nearby regions. Communication networks became increasingly unstable, and thousands of people reported receiving unexplained notifications on their phones late at night. According to witnesses, their screens would suddenly go black before displaying 3 glowing yellow lights, slowly spinning around in circles. And when this happened, people were mentally gone. Authorities attempted to trace the source of this situation, but investigators were unable to determine where the signals were actually coming from. As panic intensified, hospitals began reporting several unexplained medical cases connected to the incidents. Individuals found completely unresponsive, showing no visible injuries, yet displaying almost no measurable brain activity. Doctors could not explain what had caused this condition, and within months, the situation had spread far beyond national boundaries. Entire cities were under attack, mass panic, and sudden communication blackouts. Governments attempted to coordinate international responses, but the situation continued to escalate faster than the authorities can contain it. Then came the reports that changed everything. Witnesses described seeing 3 glowing yellow lights appearing in phones and TV screens. Millions upon millions of people were found unresponsive and mentally gone. As fear consumed the population, infrastructure across multiple regions slowly collapsed, cities emptied, and communication networks shutting down. Some countries would even report seeing red clouds of billions upon billions of balloons. Millions of people would start vanishing across the regions. Yet humanity did not disappear completely. Small groups of survivors remained scattered across isolated areas, avoiding cities and even towns. Then, just as suddenly as the chaos had begun, the sightings became less frequent, and the clown was no longer seen again. The only thing that would be left behind is millions of people floating in the air, motionlessly, unresponsive, and unable to speak, just silently floating in the sky. But as weeks pass, the bodies that were left floating in the sky slowly started to come down to the ground. Many believe the entity was gone, but others feared something far worse, that it had simply entered another period of hibernation, waiting for the rest of humanity to recover so it can feast again. There you go, guys. There is my honest answer. This wouldn't just be a creepy sightings or horror movie situation. No, this would be global chaos. Anyways, that's the end of today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoy. See ya. My butt cheeks hurt.